Hello, everyone. I want to give a quick update here on crypto, where things are heading. We got good news here. Bitcoin did flush down very quickly to 89,000. Let me pull this up here so you can see. And the analyst who predicted it, Mad Whale, said it would hit 89,000, and it did. It had great support around 91,000, and you kept seeing hit around there, and it would just go over just a hair below 91, and then gain support and go back, bounce between 91 and 96, call it. And then finally it did flush down to 89,000 and then quickly retrace back up. And right now it's sitting at 96.8 roughly. So it's retraced back and moved up strongly and looks to be heading in. It's a very bullish pattern now in a very bullish direction. And we should be heading towards 102,000 by next week and higher probably. It could be as soon as this weekend. Wouldn't surprise me if it's sooner. And then we are going to break the all-time high shortly. We should be headed to the 118 to 125 range by early February, if not possibly sooner. But somewhere I would say by the first week in February, we should hit that new all-time high in Bitcoin. And with that, a lot of the altcoins are really going to start running with it. XRP has already started to run. That one has bounced up really, really nicely. As a matter of fact, I believe that one's around 283 it hit just a short time ago. 286 right now, continues its move up. XLM's following it, Stellar Lumens. So really good bullishness here in the market. Certain ones are going to be moving. Cardano started to move again. SUI, which has been so strong here, I expect that one to move again as well here in the short term. But let's just talk about why I'm bullish and why we should all be bullish right now. And now is the time, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing today. And I've added some crypto because I had some dry powder on the sideline. So I added some today. I'm going to be adding more tomorrow. And then I'm getting set for this run. And then this run, which should take us through the rest of January and February, into March and April. April we'll have to really monitor because that's 4 months roughly of very bullishness. Now, there'll be some pullbacks. You're always going to expect pullbacks coming in there, but nothing major. Don't anticipate. And this could go to May, and then we're going to have a really sizable pullback. And Bitcoin should get somewhere in that range, 135, 145, maybe as high as 150 during that time period. And with that, altcoins, a lot of them are going to be going pretty wild, right? And every sector goes differently. I think the next one to move, this is just a wild guess, would be AI and AI agents. They're big in the news. NVIDIA's done extremely well. You have a lot of tokens out there. Render is a really good one. Near Theta is an AI token as well, besides just streaming and being an NFT exchange. So there's some really good tokens. But other reasons to be really bullish right now on crypto. Obviously, Trump's going to take office in about 6 days here, and he's extremely crypto friendly. He's bringing in a bunch of people who are very crypto friendly. And his plan is to create the Bitcoin strategic reserve, right? Which is to buy 200,000 Bitcoin per year for 5 years. Now, again, if he's not in there in 5 years, right after that. So that next president could change it, whoever that might be, but that would be the plan to do it that way. And the U.S. already holds 207,000 Bitcoin. So by adding 200,000 a year, you're going to be getting 1 million, and you already have 207,000. So you're going to be over 5% of the whole Bitcoin supply of 21 million being owned by the federal government or by the U.S. government. And the U.S. government is already the reserve currency of the world. So tell me why other countries would not follow suit. Why our enemies like China, why Russia, why Iran, why these other countries wouldn't follow suit and do the same thing just to backstop and protect themselves. I think it's going to be a race to it here. And this might artificially boost up Bitcoin a lot further than we think. I still want to stick with my numbers there, which I think will be pushed by a bit of that. Plus, you're going to have a lot of companies buying Bitcoin as well. And, it's just something that they're going to do to basically offset inflation as well as hopefully get some growth, right? They see it's bullish right now. rather than be sitting on a ton of cash, have some Bitcoin, make it a small 5%, maybe 10% of the reserves, and then sell it as it goes up there. And it's a backstop for them as well. So I could see that happening, and other governments around the world just continuing to do it and buy more, like El Salvador, who was the first to adopt it and do it. And why else am I bullish? Well, the Fed's going to probably have to reverse course if you look at it here. We have, and the reason being, they may not lower rates come this month, but I think they're going to be forced to in the next meeting in February and March and continue moving forward. The biggest reason is we're going to be running almost a $2 trillion budget deficit. I believe it's 1.9 and change for 2025. And we have $3 trillion of debt coming due in 2025 that needs to be refinanced. Short-term treasury, we might kick the can down the road, just extend those, but that's still likely with rates the way they are, the short-term rates, the Federal Reserve rates, it's still likely to make it almost unaffordable to make the government to make its monthly debt payments here. So that's why rates are going to have to be pulled back. They're going to be forced to reduce the rate. They're going to be forced to go back to quantitative easing. They're going to end up having to buy the bonds, right, the 10-year treasury, because right now there's just not that demand for it right now. So the Federal Reserve is probably going to have to go back, putting them on their balance sheet, or the federal government is going to have a crisis, the next crisis. And that could be the next black swan event. So always be aware of that. But that, should the Federal Reserve do that, reduce rates, do quantitative easing, you're adding to the global liquidity, which is just going to push markets up more and more and more, which is, great for risk on assets like the bond market, the stock market, the bond market, cryptos, and even real estate, silver and gold. All of them should be very bullish. We're also going to see the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which is going to be really shedding light on how much waste, fraud, and abuse the federal government does, how much they just waste money. There's no accountability. And that's why we run a $1.9 trillion deficit here in 2025, which is not sustainable. And this can't continue. But shedding light on that is good for us as citizens, so we know this, so we can try to curtail and fix this. Hopefully it's something we could do, but at least the fact that we're shedding light on it, that is a positive. Now, this analyst here who was talking about Bitcoin, hitting as low as 89,000 and then correcting and getting to 110,000, which would be its new all-time high. 108,000 and change was the all-time high. So with that, that's also bullish, right? There's more bullishness here. And he was right. He hit on this pretty well. Not sure where he goes as far as how much he thinks it's going to go. It looks like he thinks another target is roughly 130,000. Don't have a time frame on that there, but anyway, more bullishness is good. It's very good. All right, and let's look at Trump's Bitcoin reserve plans. 15 trillion price boom is predicted. That'd be tremendous, right? That would hit all the crypto markets. That would be massive. I don't know if we get 15 trillion in this cycle, but potentially the next cycle we could get to 15 trillion. It would be phenomenal to get there this cycle. That would be all, just ridiculous how much wealth would be created with that. But I think this cycle, next cycle, you could get to that 15 trillion market cap there with all cryptos combined. What else do we have here? Let's take a look at. Bitcoin's technical indicator predicts that Bitcoin price this cycle to top in the summer of 2025. And it could happen. We're looking at like potentially May, where we have a correction. And usually when you have a sizable correction, it could take several months. It would probably be, I'm thinking after the summer, maybe late summer, early fall. It could set its new all-time high. Typically we do in October, November timeframe, and after these post-halving years. That's kind of where I would go with it, but they're predicting in the summer here. And I did not read through to see what they predicted it would go up to. But good article if you want to take a look at it here as to where it could go. All right, now let's talk about Trump's policies here. And he's going to have expect a lot of first day action, a lot of executive orders. Some are target Biden's anti-crypto policies, where he was making the banks take them as liabilities on their balance sheet. And it would make, basically made it as a detriment for banks to be able to be taking crypto on for customers. So Trump's going to reverse that, and that might make it much more desirable. I think it's going to make it bankable. I think in the first half of this year, you're going to see banks, your traditional banks, your Wells Fargo, your Bank of America, your Chase, taking crypto and custodying it for their customers, which will be a massive boon to crypto. Again, another thing that could really bump it up. And the most important thing, obviously, is Trump getting rid of capital gains taxes on U.S.-based crypto companies. And that would be huge. And there's a lot of companies. Here's a list of a few of them that would get benefited. Algorand, Ripple, Hedera, which HBAR, Constellation, Solana, Cardano. There's a lot more too. Sui is one. Theta is one. There's quite a few others that would have that advantage to him. I'd be really curious if he also tries to push Bitcoin into that. Bitcoin isn't headquartered anywhere because it's autonomous. It doesn't have any home. It's not owned by anybody. It's just a blockchain. So I'd be curious if he adds that to it, because if he did, what you'll do is the hodler sentiment will really just increase, and people would just be buying, accumulating, and holding, and not wanting to sell Bitcoin. And that would really reduce the next cycle, the next bear market low price. Typically it retraces 70-80% Bitcoin. But in this case, if that happens, you might only talk about a 40% retracement, maybe 50. I don't even think it could get to 60. Should that be the case? Again, if you don't, people will be willing to sell it if you don't have capital gains. But at the same time, people right now borrow against it so they don't have to pay capital gains. But I still think it would just push the price up tremendously. And the hodler sentiment would still be strong and good, because there's a lot of people who just want to buy and hold Bitcoin, like Michael Saylor, among others. There's the Bitcoin maxis out there. And I love Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I just love what it was built on, love the belief around it. But there's, at some point, the plug will probably be pulled on Bitcoin down the road. It'll become older and antiquated, and something else have to replace it. This article here just gets in a little more of the executive orders that he could do day one. I don't know about the tax thing. I'm thinking he needs Congress to get approval to get rid of the capital gains taxes on those U.S.-based companies, but there could be some workaround there. Who knows? I mean, Biden's not supposed to be able to forgive student loan debt because the Supreme Court denied it, yet he still has a workaround around it. So there could be a workaround around this too. So be prepared for that. All reasons to be super bullish on crypto long-term, and why I am buying altcoins now, tomorrow, and I'm going to keep some dry powder too, just in case there are down days, but I want to have everything set in place for those coins that I believe in and like. And again, a lot of them are the US-based ones, like the Algorand, Cardano, and I already have XRP, Cardano, and a lot of these there, Solana, Sui, Theta, but I'll continue to add more and ride this out and keep you posted as when I'm hitting price points that I'm looking to sell, and take that money out so I don't round trip my bags and enjoy life for a little while. All right, guys, if you like this, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you next video.